Hello, hello. I do believe I'm live right now. What's up, everybody? How's it going? All right, how do I do this? Let's see. Let's try and call in Michelle here. How do I do this? Oh. Done. Screen share. All right, I just sent Michelle the link here, so let's see if she comes on. You should. Mhm. Sorry, guys. I don't know if anyone's watching. I'm not seeing the chat, but just be patient with me. Oh, boy. Hello? Michelle?
Hello.
Oh, finally it worked. Okay. So sorry about that. I've never done this before.
It's all right. I've only ever done it from this side, not from setting it up myself, from having it set up for me. So yeah, but we've done it. We're finally here. That's all we need.
What's up? I do not see anyone in the chat yet. I mean, do you see anyone? Or you can't see it?
I can't see it now, but I had it up before, and there was a few people in.
Oh, really? See, I'm not seeing anyone. So unfortunately, I may have to like ignore everyone in the chat here. Ay, ay, ay. So, how are you? Happy Friday.
Yeah, happy Friday to you as well. What time is it for you?
9:15 in the morning.
Is it? Oh, you see, I've done a full day at work. I've done a day at work and come home, so. Yeah, happy Friday to you as well. What time is it? Hold on.
9:15 in the morning. Oh, wow.
Right, I've got the chat.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I can just look at it on my phone too.
Okay, so we've got 10 people in the chat.
Oh.
We've got Baz. Hi, Baz. We've got Vane. We've got PewDiePie Felix.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. We've got Sunny Boots.
Oh, Sunny Boots. I know Sunny Boots.
Sunny Boots. We've got 123 Leo 123. We've got Harani. Sorry if I get your name wrong. We've got Harani. I think that's it. We've got Aura.
All right. Well, hello.
Audio head. Yay. So we got a few people in.
All right. So I guess a few people are in. So I think where I'd like to start off is you became a vegetarian at a very young age.
That's right. 11 years old. I was nearly 12 years old. And I was an animal lover. And I used to, when I was very, very small, I used to look at meat plate, and when it was a lamb chop or a chicken, I could see that animal. I knew that animal was the real animal. And I must have been only about 6 years old when a child just becomes aware of what death is. So I don't know how old that is, maybe 6. And it's like, that is a dead lamb. That is a dead lamb. And it just knocked me sick. And there was only a handful of meats that I liked anyway. But by the time I got to 11, I just thought, I can't do this. And I just said, me and my friend, we were both animal lovers. One day at school, we just plotted and said, we are never going to eat animals again. We are going to go vegetarian. And she lasted 4 weeks before she went back to eating meat. But I'm still here. So I haven't eaten meat or fish since I was 11.
Wow.
Okay. So it's a long time. But at that time, I didn't know the word vegan. I knew the word vegetarian. I don't know where I'd got that from, because obviously it was the days well before the internet. And I used to eat eggs, and I loved milk. I really loved milk. I was brought up on, the raw unpasteurized milk, and I loved that milk. But I didn't equate eggs and milk with death. And it was only a few years after that I heard the word vegan. I don't know whether it was on TV. I don't know where I heard the word vegan. And once I realized that actually animals do die, like indirectly through, the calves being killed and the mum being taken away from the calf, or the chickens being kept in little tiny cages. I know where I got the idea from chickens, because we have a chicken farm in the village where I live. I lived in the same village when I was a kid, and there was a chicken farm, and it's still there. And one summer, it was the summer that I went vegan, we had a lot of flies in the village, and it was all coming from the chicken farm because of the, I don't know, whatever they were doing. There was just hundreds and hundreds of thousands and millions of flies. And I thought, hold on a minute, those chickens are the eggs. That's where the eggs are coming from. That's where my eggs are coming from. So I stopped eating eggs as well. And then that was when I went vegan. So I went vegan for 4.5 years. And then I slipped after 4.5 years and went back to drinking milk. But I've never eaten meat or fish for all of that time. So all of those people who think you're going to die not eating meat, it's a load of nonsense. It's a load of nonsense.
Right. So I guess, oh, sorry.
I said it's propaganda. That's all it is.
Exactly.
It's
I mean,
propaganda.
you were the original New World Order with your friend there, right? When you were 11. Beginning.
Yeah, we were. We were the original. We were the originals, plotting the New World Order from the school playground.
Oh boy. Well, I think that's interesting because you, like, especially as a child, standing up to that. So what was that like with your parents and your other friends?
With my family, it was the stereotypical response. It was, oh well, you know. At first they humoured me. I think they were, oh well, she'll come round, she'll eat meat eventually, you know. But once they realised that I wasn't going to eat meat, I wasn't going to change my mind, then they started to kind of like emotional blackmail, like, oh, you'll die, you'll get a protein, you'll get a vitamin deficiency, you'll not have enough protein, all of that nonsense that still to this day gets trotted out. That's what I got for years, for absolutely years on years. So the people who come into my comment section thinking that they're going to be able to convert me to carnism,
yeah, that's not going to work.
It's just not happening.
Yeah,
it's just not happening. Because I've heard it all before. I've been hearing it all of my life. But my friends weren't bothered. No, my friends didn't bother. You know, they were just like, oh, it's Michelle, she's weird, and that was that. But I've never had a McDonald's. I don't know what McDonald's burgers taste like because I was already vegetarian. McDonald's came to my town and I was already vegetarian. So I've never had McDonald's burger. I've never had Burger King. I have had KFC. I have had KFC once or twice. So yeah, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to convert me. So leave me alone. No, I like the trolls. Trolls
I know.
Are
It's kind of like when you make a video and then it's all like quiet and you're not there. You're like, what did I do wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh. So it was just like a constant thing with your parents. And what was it? Do they still give you a hard time? Or did you just finally keep going to the doctor and you were fine? When
I went vegan, that's when my mum really started to worry. So I was nearly 16 when I went vegan, and she took me to the doctors, and she thought I had an eating disorder. And my diet, to be fair to my mum, my diet was restricted because, you know, there wasn't the vegan junk food that was out there now. You could get vegetarian sausages, and there was a veggie burger that was horrible. But there really wasn't the type of junk food that's out there now. So my diet was quite restrictive, but I wasn't underweight. The doctor tested me for, you know, blood tests, and I wasn't deficient in anything. So the doctor just basically said, look, she's not underweight, she's fit, she's healthy, there's nothing wrong with her. You know, if she wants to eat a vegan diet, let her eat a vegan diet. So the doctor didn't take my mum seriously, which was all credit to the doctor at that time. But I wasn't underweight. That's the thing. I suppose it would have been a completely different story had I have been underweight, or if I'd been deficient in whatever. But I wasn't even deficient in B12 because I was eating Weetabix, and in the UK, breakfast cereals are fortified. Even in those days, they were fortified with B vitamins. So I wasn't deficient, and the doctor just sent my mum away saying, no, she's fine. She's eating fruit, she's eating vegetables, she's eating cereals, just let her get on with it. But yeah, it was my mum particularly, and my grandparents, because my grandparents had been brought up living on, you know, meat and two veg kind of thing. And if you have the two veg but not the meat, then that's a big problem. But everybody else was okay about it. But when I went back to vegetarianism, I think my mum breathed a sigh of relief that, you know, my eating disorder was finally over, and she could cope with just not eating meat. But to be honest, my mum doesn't eat meat now. She only eats a little bit of chicken every now and again, but she gave up red meat a long time ago. So that's my story.
Okay, so I guess because when you're at that age, and then back then you didn't really have the internet, like, was it basically just instinctive eating, or did you find any information?
No, there was a
to kind of like convince your parents or anything?
No, there was a health food shop in the town, and I bought a book called Fit for Life from that health food shop, but it was a diet book. I don't know whether you've heard of Fit for Life. I think I have. It's kind of like, yeah, it's like food combining, and quite similar to Raw Till 4, really, that you only eat fruits until, let me remember, you eat only fruit until noon, and then you can eat protein and carbs, but you can't have protein and carbs at the same meal. So anyway, so I tried to kind of fit my eating around Fit for Life because that sounded like it was healthy, but only loosely. But it was a diet book, you see, and I wasn't dieting. I was just trying to find something, anything that would give me things to eat, basically, you know, beyond Weetabix and bread. That's why I bought the book. But my mum got hold of the book and lost 4 stone doing Fit for Life. So because Fit for Life wasn't a vegan book, you know, you could eat lean protein sources like fish and stuff on the Fit for Life. I just veganized it. But yeah, it was just intuitive eating. I really didn't know anything about health. I didn't know anything at all about. I didn't know B12. I looked on the side of a cereal packet and checked the ingredients to see if there's any, you know, milk or anything in it. But I didn't understand, like, oh yeah, that's a B vitamin. I need that for energy. I didn't understand that at the time. I did learn it. There was some information available, but it wasn't like I was like you've got today. You can just do a Google search and look up, oh yeah, this is what omega-3s are. No, there was nothing. And I was fine, absolutely fine. And I was the healthiest that I've ever been when I was vegan that first time round, because I was young as well. And I was very, very fit. I was going to the gym. I was doing loads and loads and loads of cycling. There was nothing wrong with me. And it was just intuitive eating.
So you were just lucky then, I suppose.
I think there was an element of luck there, to be honest. Like I said, the cereals that I was eating, like the Weetabix and so on, were fortified with B vitamins. I think if I'd not been eating those cereals, I would have become deficient in B12. I definitely would have become deficient in B12, because I wasn't taking any supplements, any vitamins or anything like that. It just wasn't a thing back then, because I didn't know any other. I didn't know any other vegetarians, let alone any other vegans. I don't think I even met a vegan until I was well out of my vegan phase that first time round. And I'm trying to think when I actually met a vegan in real life. It was many years after that experience. But I've known a few vegetarians since. And I do work with a vegan now. I do. There's a vegan that I work with. So she was actually one of my inspirations as to going vegan this time. So it was a conversation with her really that triggered off my, hold on a minute, I could do veganism again and do it properly this time and do it forever and stop living with guilt. Because that's what I've been doing for many years, is living with the guilt, because I'd learned what happened to calves, and I'd learned what happened to in the dairy industry. I knew all of that. And that's why, really, to be honest, I think some of the current situation with some vegan YouTubers going ex-vegan and turning towards the dark side, I do think some of those might in the future go back to veganism, because once you've learned something, you can't unlearn it. You can deny it, you can repress it, but you can't unlearn it. And once you have those images in your head of the mother cow being taken away from the calf, how can you unlearn that? How does it suddenly become okay for that to be a thing and for you to be buying into it? It doesn't. It never becomes something that you can sit comfortably with. And it must be all the more, I've only got my experience to go off, and it must be all the more poignant and all the more difficult for those who go back to eating meat, who were ethical vegans. Like, if they don't feel that guilt, and if they don't feel that discomfort, then they were never ethical vegans to start with. That's my view. But if there are ethical vegans who've gone ex-vegan and who've started eating meat, I can only imagine what that guilt feels like. And yeah, you can deny it, you can repress it, but you can never unlearn it. And that would be my advice to anybody who was ex-vegan. It's like, do what you've got to do, right? Experiment, do whatever but you will live with guilt, you will live with denial, you will live with that until you decide to do something about it. And that's what I did. And I feel, honestly, that a weight was lifted off my shoulders. Honestly, that I didn't even know was there. That's the truth. Mm-hmm. So that's possibly, if there's any ex-vegans watching this, and you were, and I'm speaking directly to those people, if you were an ethical vegan, then you are going to seriously go through the ringer, and you are going to be in denial forever, unless you do something about it.
Oh my gosh, because some of these ex-vegans, what was it, Bobby's Perspective, actually did that whole video. It's like, and I agree with you. It's like, if you really did care about animals and knew what was going on, it's like, how do people like switch off their brain that way? I don't get it.
It's a psychological defense mechanism. So I think what happens is why some of the people who are, the well-known influencers from vegan YouTube, who are now, they've explored the carnivore life, and now they're either carnivore or they're close to carnivore, or they're whatever, they're just not vegan anymore. I think a lot of those people weren't in it for ethics at all. They weren't interested in animal rights. They were interested in health. They were interested in the physique. They were interested in the aesthetics and popularity. You know, let's think. Like 2016 was kind of like the heyday for, you know, the Raw till 4 and so on, and a lot of people jumped on the bandwagon when Freely and Durian Rider were really popular in 2016 and whatever. And it's some of those people who built up decent sized YouTube channels off the back of that. Well, now that Raw till 4 movement isn't so popular, there's a new thing, there's a new diet, there's a new popular thing to be, right? So some of those people had absolutely no ethics whatsoever. However, I think other people did. I watched the community stream that Ask Yourself did a few days ago. Did you see it?
No.
It was on Ask Yourself's channel, and it was there was Vegan Gains, Mike the Vegan, Erin Janis, Joey Carbstrong, James Aspey, and then someone called Seb, who I'd never heard of. And they were all chatting, and Mike the Vegan said he originally went vegan for health, but it was after he'd gone vegan for health that he realized, you know, his eyes were opened as to actually what goes on in the animal food industry. So I think it is possible for a lot of people to develop ethics, even though they didn't go vegan for ethics. So for me, it was ethics first, and then, oh, look, there's some health benefits as well. You know, the health benefits are very much secondary. Whereas for other people, it's the health, the plant-based health kind of benefits first. And then ethics is actually, we're helping animals as well. You know, that's the secondary thing. But it doesn't matter. If you have any ethics whatsoever, then once you, like I said, once you've learned, you can't unlearn. And I think what people do to protect themselves psychologically is do what I did, is go into denial. Oh, it's not that bad. It's not, you know, it's not as bad as what, it's not as bad as the vegan activists make out. You know, it's, you know, the footage, it's staged, or the footage is just the worst, and it's not really like that all the time. That's the kind of thing that I did. You know, I did mind games on myself. That's exactly what I did. And I think some of the people who are the most nasty towards vegans now, the ones who've become the anti-vegan movement, I think that's what they're doing. They've got the psychological defense mechanisms up to protect themselves from knowing what they can't unknow.
Right. So like they go to that extreme, saying like, oh, veganism's a new world order. It's an agenda. It's
I think that's perhaps a slightly different. I'll come on to that, because I think from a personal, like from a psychological personal protection perspective, then you have, it's really not that bad. It's not as bad as people make out. The animal activists are going into restaurants and they're upsetting people, and they're upsetting the animals and whatever. But there's another side to it as well, which I think is a more pervasive problem in society. And I think that is political. I think there are, I don't know what it's like where you are, but in the UK, there's a lot of political anguish at the moment because of Brexit, because the UK is leaving the European Union. And there are lots and lots of people who are disillusioned with politics, right? So I guess it's the same where you come from.
Okay, so you think there's a difference between that sort of denial versus politics? Is what you're saying?
I think
there is a difference, or do you think it's tied in together?
I think probably for some people there is a tie-in, but they are two separate issues. That if somebody is being is feeling guilt because they're eating a steak and they know that's a dead body, but yet they like the taste and they're going to do it anyway. So they turn, it's like turning the tables on yourself, right? So it's like saying, it's really, I shouldn't be feeling like this, therefore I'm going to attack someone else. So you project that pain that you're feeling, or that guilt that you're feeling, you project it onto someone else to get it away from you, right? It's very Freudian, but that's, I think that's different from although oh, my son's just come in and maybe jump. Okay.
Oh, well, we're going to get KFC again.
No, he's not. He's going out. I can't read his writing. He's passed me a note. I can't read his writing. Can I get to? Yeah, let's go. There, he's gone. No, I think there's a slightly different issue. That with this vegan New World Order stuff, I think the people who start endorsing that are those people who are disillusioned with politics, with their life, who are willing to believe anything. Those are the people. Now, it might be that, within the same person, there's also the guilt and the stuff and the development of anti-veganism. But then you have other people who are just going to, whether they've ever been vegan or not, they're going to be anti-politics, anti-establishment, anti-science, and lump it all together and then say, yeah, that must be what's happening because Bill Gates has bought into what is it, Beyond Foods or whatever. Yeah, that must be what's happening. And they put 2 and 2 together and get 5 or 6 million. So this is what's happening with the flat Earth thing as well.
Oh gosh.
Well, you have some people who are anti-science, anti-establishment, think that they've been lied to all of their lives, and for some reason they've been lied to about the shape of the Earth. So if people are prepared to go to that length of belief, well, believing that there's a vegan agenda is nothing compared to believing that the Earth is flat. Do you know what I mean? It's lack of critical thinking. I don't know, but just
okay. So there is some
my mind, honestly.
So I think there is some. There probably is some separation, but then there are people online who kind of both have that in a way.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
possibly. I mean, if you take somebody like, let's say Tim Sheaf, for example.
I was just thinking of him.
So Tim Sheaf, ethical vegan, supposedly, right? Supposedly. And now he's become really quite anti-vegan. In his, he's gone on national TV in the UK and basically denounced veganism. But yeah, he's a flat earther. So he's the kind of person who, once he's denounced veganism, he's had to turn the tables on himself to psychologically protect himself, right? So he said, right, veganism's unhealthy, you can't do veganism, and actually it's more ethical to eat meat or to take eggs from Betty's farm than it is to eat a slice of bread, because there's more animals killed in wheat production than there is in egg production or steak production, right? So you can live on one cow. If you live on one cow per year, you only kill one animal. It's utterly ridiculous. Mind games, mind bending to protect your own psyche. But somebody like...
Oh, sorry. I was just about to say, you did that video about Betty's farm, and it's actually not a small little farm. It's just a big one.
It's huge. If it's the same, if it's Betty's farm, right? So I know whereabouts in the UK Tim is from, and there was only one Betty's Farm online from that part of the UK. So it's quite possible that there is another Betty's Farm who isn't online, who is in the same area, who is just a little old lady called Betty feeding a few chickens, which is the way that Tim made out. But if it is the Betty's Farm that Tim talked about, then this is an outfit with 24,000 chickens. 24,000 chickens. 12,000 in one big shed and 12,000 in the other big shed. And they have a farm shop that sells butchered meats, and they do kind of like attractions for children, so the children can go in and pet the chickens. Well, it's just a handful of chickens that are let out into a field, right? They're not going to let 24,000 chickens out into the field, are they? I mean, it'd just be mayhem, right? So the actual farming outfit goes on in these sheds, and then they have children's attractions to make it look like some kind of lovely, quaint, lovely old-fashioned farm. That's the impression, right? I don't want to slander Betty's Farm, but that's the impression that Tim made it sound, that it was, it was lovely. It was, Betty walking about in the field with her chickens, right? It's not even run by Betty. Betty isn't even a thing. Betty doesn't even work there. It's just called Betty's Farm.
All right.
But it might not be. Like I said, I don't want to, say this is Betty's Farm that Tim's talking about. Absolutely, categorically, it could be that there is another Betty's Farm that just isn't online. That obviously, if it's not online, I can't find it. But I don't know. Let people make their own minds up on that one. But yeah, it didn't take me long to find the Betty's Farm with the 24,000 chickens.
Oh gosh. So I think a big issue with ex-vegans, especially I think with Tim, is that they like the whole health thing, like quitting veganism for health. Do you think there is something valid about that, or do you think it's kind of like BS?
Quitting veganism for health. I mean, there is absolutely the possibility that somebody can become deficient in a multitude of things, right? I don't want to pick on Tim Sheaf all the time. I just thought of Tim Sheaf.
Well, I think it's just a lot of ex-vegans that seem to have that issue.
Yeah. So we'll take a hypothetical ex-vegan. I don't want to get accused of slandering anybody. So we'll take a hypothetical ex-vegan, and if you have somebody who's been, let's say, for example, fruitarian for a long time, they've been living clean, they've been water fasting on and off for a long time, their body, and also they are exercising, they're putting their body through a lot of energy expenditure, they are going to be depleted. They are going to be depleted in a whole multitude of things, potentially. If they're not supplementing, then they're going to be obviously deficient in B12, because you can't get B12 just from fruit. They're going to be deficient in omega-3s, because fruit doesn't have, unless you're eating a huge amount of fruit, a huge amount of fruit, you're not going to be able to get an adequate amount of fat content. Right, so fructose. If you are literally living on high fructose fruits, you potentially could start getting problems with fructose intolerance, right? Which gives you bloating. It gives you, digestive distress. It gives you gas. It gives you pain. I'm fructose intolerant, so if you ask me to live on fruit, I would be ill, right? I wouldn't be able to absorb what nutrients were in there. I would be in pain. I would look like I was 9 months pregnant. I wouldn't get on well. But give me a little bit of fruit together with a whole multitude of other plant-based foods, and I'm absolutely fine. No bloating, no gas, nothing, right? So So people who are supposedly living clean and who are not giving their body the opportunity to replete itself, they are going to start feeling unwell without a shadow of a doubt, right? And they might not look underweight, although I suppose some of them do. You know, some of the water faster, breatharian nonsense people, right? They do look underweight. They do look like the epitome of malnourishment that Sverige talks about, right? And those people, they're not doing veganism a service at all. They really aren't doing veganism a service. And if those people are in it for ethics, then they need to think about what they're doing to the body, because ultimately it does the animals no service if you make yourself unwell, right? It really doesn't. But it doesn't take very much these days to get a bit of health advice from a qualified nutritionist who knows about plant-based health and sort yourself out that way. Now, you know, there might be people who develop fructose intolerance, for example. There might be people who develop, I don't know, another intolerance, an intolerance to gluten, right? So avoid those foods, right? I can eat a little bit of fruit. I don't eat the high fructose fruits. I stick to the lower fructose fruits like berries and bananas and avocados. But I don't eat mangoes or melon or even apple very often, because they give me the bloating. They give me I love mango, but I can't eat it. I can eat one square and I'm okay. But you just listen to your body. And if you listen to your body and there is a certain food that is not agreeing with you, then don't eat that food, right? I don't know. And I think some people have magnified, again, I'm not talking about any specific person. I think some people have magnified the effects that veganism has supposedly had on them, because they are listening to this carnitard nonsense. There's one person.
I love how you say carnitard all the time. It's just so fitting. It's like, at first it was like, am I being offensive? And now you're just freely saying it.
No.
So
carny. We'll say carny then.
All right. Well, a big thing that really frustrates me is because a lot of people claim, oh, I was doing veganism totally right. I was doing everything right. I was eating enough. And then it's kind of like, were you? I mean, do you think there's some, do you think any of those people were actually doing it right? Or do you think eventually you would be like, okay, you weren't getting this vitamin, or you weren't eating enough grains, or I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, you can say, oh, I was doing everything right. You know, it's like when you go to the doctor and they say, how much do you smoke? How much do you drink? And actually you smoke 40 cigarettes a day and you drink a pint of gin every night. And you say, oh, I just drink a little bit on special occasions. You know, you sort of like lie a little bit.
Oh, no.
You know, you don't want to think badly of you and whatever. So I think there might be people who are not quite telling the truth and are saying, I did everything right, but they know maybe deep down that they weren't eating enough, or they know deep down that they were eating a ton of calories, but, you know, and keeping their weight up, but they weren't having at all a balanced diet in any way. And then, or there might be people who genuinely believe that they did everything right. But if you went down, if let's say a nutritionist went down what they were actually eating on an average week, they would be deficient in certain things. And then there might be people who genuinely did everything right, but had some form of intolerance, and therefore they weren't absorbing enough nutrients. because you can feed your face with plenty of calories, but unless you're actually absorbing those nutrients, then nothing's gonna, it's not gonna help. So yeah, I have sympathy with people who genuinely have gut dysbiosis or who are intolerant and who haven't been absorbing foods correctly. But then obviously, instead of just quitting veganism, right? I mean, quit veganism if you want. If the ethics mean nothing to you, then by all means quit veganism, right? But if the ethics ever meant anything to you at all, then actually it's down to you to take responsibility and to do everything you can to get your health back on track. That's as simple as that for me. And I think there are some people who claim to be ethical vegans who haven't done that. Tim Sheaf being one person.
Oh, I know. He bugs me. Oh my God. I was just watching him on London Real, and he literally said something like, oh, these people just don't know their bodies. They should take ayahuasca and do yoga. I'm like, oh my God. No, but a big thing he was talking about is that he felt like veganism caused his eating disorder. But then at one point he was like, oh, well, when I was eating, cooked and whole foods, I felt good. So it's kind of like, what were you doing there,
Yeah. And he's one example, I suppose, of the person who feels guilty, who's in denial, who does understand the horrors of the animal industry, but they're using, oh, well, I was ill and it was veganism that caused my illness. But if somebody like Tim, who's been in the public eye for many years, you can look back on his old videos where he looked the picture of health. He genuinely looked very, very well when he was eating a decent diet. Mm-hmm. And it was the urine drinking and the fasts, and that's the thing that's caused the problems. I'm sorry, I just don't buy Tim's line that it was the veganism that caused the illness. It's like, no,
I'm not buying it either.
No, I don't buy it. I think that is denial. And also with Tim, he's also quite gullible. He is quite anti-science. He doesn't like visiting, his doctor. He thinks the earth is flat. And what can you say to somebody like that? It's not like you can have a mature conversation with somebody who believes the earth is flat. I'm sorry, it's just it's too difficult for me.
Oh my God.
Oh dear.
I know. I do have a few trolls who just go off on me because they think the earth is flat. They're like, you're going to go to hell and you don't know what you're talking about. And I can't. I just ignore them. So, gosh. So what inspired you to create a YouTube channel?
Oh, that's a good question. I've been watching vegan YouTube for a long, long time. Well, since I went vegan in the second time in 2016, I searched YouTube for vegan content because I wanted like recipes and things like that, and found all the drama because it was in the summer of 2016 when all the stuff in Chiang Mai was kicking off. And I was watching that, and and thought, oh, I could do YouTube. When I know more about veganism, I might do a YouTube channel. And that kind of sat in the back of my mind until I don't know, beginning of 2018, and I thought, oh, I'm going to start a YouTube channel, but I'm just going to vlog. I'm not going to just make it about veganism. I'm not going to be a drama channel. I'm not going to be. I just want to vlog my life, and then that kind of went one stage further, and that sat for a while, and then The first video I made was me chasing my son around the house with a camera just for a giggle, and I loaded that up to YouTube for a giggle, and my son took it down. But that was the thing. I thought, oh, this is easy, right? This is easy. I can do this. I know how to upload a video to YouTube now. I can, I know how to do it. So I started to play around with it. I started to film myself and then get really shy and not load it up. And yeah, so it was something that was brewing at the back of my mind for a long time, but I never intended it to become a vegan channel, and I certainly never intended it to become a drama channel.
Well, I think you're, compared to most drama channels, you're fairly respectful.
Yeah, I like to have a balance between, the serious videos, the silly videos, and not all of my videos are about veganism. Some of my earliest videos I have actually taken down because they were rubbish. I mean, not just the camera or the sound quality, but they were just nonsense. Me like just chatting, So I've taken some of those early videos down. But if you look through my, I've got over 500 videos on there at the moment, and I think some of them maybe some of them need to come down, like some of the really rubbish ones need to come down. But I do a variety of content, so I'm quite happy that I'm not just becoming the new Charles Marlowe. Somebody said in my comments today, Michelle Lowe is the new Charles Marlowe.
No,
I don't think I'm quite the new Charles Marlowe.
No, I think you're way too respectful and thoughtful to be him.
Yeah. I've also got to remember that, I do have a job, and although, my workplace know that I've got a YouTube channel, and that's not a problem. I think if I started to become like Charles Marlowe, then they might start having a problem, if I can be identified online. So I am mindful that, I'm a respectful person anyway. I'm not just saying it's just because I'm, if I quit my job and became a full-time YouTuber, I'd become completely disrespectful. I wouldn't, because that's not me. But there are reasons why I'm careful with what I say at times.
All right, so I mean, well, that sort of brings me to the next point. Like, what are your thoughts about online bullying and everything? Because I know you've had issues with Bart K. I believe, like, he did anyone actually find out where you worked and like contacted them, or was that just kind of like a threat?
It's not difficult to find out where I work because I'm using my real name. And I said from day one, or I said to myself from day one, I am going to use my real name because I'm not going to hide who I am, right? I mean, because I'm not difficult to find, right? If my face, because there's I'm on my work's website, right? So it doesn't take that much searching for somebody to find my face, and I'm not going to hide behind a pseudonym. So that was what I said to myself, that I'm online anyway, and I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm a psychologist. I'm not going to hide the fact that I have some knowledge of scientific subjects. I'm not going to hide. I'm going to be upfront with the students that I work with, and I'm going to tell them and whatever. So it isn't difficult to actually find my workplace. What I don't do is advertise my workplace. So I don't say where I work. So it's not like I've outwardly told YouTube where I work. I don't put that I'm a lecturer at the University of, right? So Bart Keith and his supporters thought they were being a bit clever, perhaps, by
Okay, so it's just sort of like
we found out where Michelle works. Well, it's not difficult to find out where I work, right? My God. But no, as far as I know, no one contacted my workplace. I was certainly not hauled into my boss's office. You know, Michelle, we've had these reports of you abusing people online. No, that didn't happen. I don't think anybody did contact my workplace, because I think if they had have done, I think even if my boss had disregarded it as a crank, I think they would have had to make me aware of it, just out of courtesy. But no, not to my knowledge. But I mean, Bart K is, I don't dislike the guy, to be honest. When I first became aware of him, I thought he was quite boring in the way that he speaks, really slowly. But apart from that, I thought I could have a conversation with him. You know, we can have a banter about science. How wrong was I? How wrong was I? So yeah, I'd still be willing to have a chat with Bart online, right? He doesn't want to have a debate, and that's absolutely fine, but I'd be willing to chat with him like we're doing now, right? You know, but no, he for whatever reason, he hates me because I've disrespected him, because I don't listen to his superior knowledge. I disrespect him because I don't listen, and I'm rude to him. So
okay,
what can you say?
I mean, because there's obviously a big difference between someone just in the comment section being like, "Yeah, you're a stupid retard," and then I do actually have a friend who, like, some people have actually left her bad Yelp reviews, and then one guy even recorded a video trying to like call her like on because she used to work for Uber,
right?
So like there is that problem where people.
Oh yeah, definitely. If I was working in let's say I was working for the police, right? I've got a friend who works for the police. She's not a police officer, but she works in like data management, right? So she's not a police officer, but the entire police force that she works for, they have a policy that they don't want any of their employees on social media. So she had to even shut down her Facebook page. It was that bad, right? So if I was in that kind of job, there's no way in the world that I would be able to have a YouTube channel and put my real name and my face on there, right? So I would, if I really wanted to be a YouTuber, then I would have done, if I was in that kind of job, then I've done what Vegan Foot Soldier does and put a mask on.
Foot soldier, right? Like it, yeah, maybe
so
agent. Hello?
Oh, no. Hidden.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like I was there for a minute.
Yeah, you did a couple of minutes ago, but you came straight back, so I just ignored it.
Okay.
Yeah, there are many jobs where the policy is that you can't have social media, or you just can't. There are other instances where you might not want to. You might value your personal life perhaps more than I do, right? Your personal privacy more than I do, because I've put bits and pieces about my life online. Some people might be okay with putting their face on, but not anything too personal. There's so many ways to do YouTube without putting your personal life online. So, you could just do voiceovers, or you could put a mask on or whatever. So yeah, I appreciate that not everybody's in the same situation. And if I'd been working in a job where that was the case for me, then I would have gone to some lengths to protect my identity. But like I said, I didn't feel that I needed to. So I think there has to be an element of maturity. And if, like Bart Kay said, that he didn't dox me because my workplace is easy to find. But I think when you do start to threaten someone, then you cross the line. Whether you want to call it doxing, or technically it isn't, but you want to, it's still cyberbullying. It's still out of order. It's still immature and completely unprofessional to encourage your supporters to send, someone's workplace essentially a bad review, right? Yeah, it's unprofessional, it's silly, and yeah, I mean, what can I say? But I am fortunate that, I am in a position where I am allowed to have a YouTube channel and I'm allowed to have social media, and actually my workplace encourages us to use social media, probably to publicize research, not to talk about veganism as such, but still, social media is very much encouraged in my line of work. So, but I fully appreciate that not everybody's that fortunate. And my heart goes out to people who've had, their businesses ruined and, their reputation ruined by idiots who don't think before they act. They're just like children. It's really sad. And that's obviously the downside, isn't it, of social media. There's many upsides of social media, but there's also many downsides, and obviously that's one, that people take it too far. They take something that happens online that's, it needs to stay online, and they make it, devastate someone's real life, and that's out of order completely.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you weren't like in actual trouble or anything.
No, I'm not in trouble.
That's good to know.
If I was in trouble, I'd have made a video about it, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, Rebecca. Well, gosh, do you have any questions for me?
Well, I could turn the tables round on you and ask you all of the same questions that you've asked me, because I don't know very much about you at all. I think you make some fantastic videos. Your editing's superb at times. I'm really impressed by your videos. You need many more subscribers than you've got. I mean, people say that about me, but I think your videos definitely top mine in quality. But how long have you been vegan and been doing?
Okay, I went vegan when I was about 24. I'm now 32. Right. So it's been a few years.
Yeah, quite a few years.
And something I kind of struggle with, especially with on YouTube, is I feel like I forget that I once was in that place where I didn't know about it. So I try to just kind of take a deep breath and maybe give some basic information instead of just being like, you're an idiot. I think I tend to do that sometimes.
It is easy to forget. And I think because I've had that because I've been vegan twice and I've had that long period where I did feel guilty, I think that's where I have that appreciation. But I think it is incredibly easy to forget that, once you're vegan and you're embedded in it and that's your life, it's easy to forget anything else. And it's, yeah, I see exactly what you mean. But how easy have you found veganism?
Me, maybe the first few months was a little bit tricky. Just kind of figuring out what food to eat, what I like. But for me, the biggest thing, and it's still hard even today, is actually trying to explain it to people, because most people seem to kind of like, I tell them about what goes on and then they're like, you're just being picky, you're oversensitive, or that's just like a one instance, you know, all slaughterhouses aren't like that. And I think maybe that's just something that you're going to constantly have to deal with as a vegan.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I suppose it depends where you live, doesn't it? I mean, the UK has changed quite a lot in recent years. Veganism is much more well known now, but I forget that there are parts of the world where veganism isn't very well known at all. You know, and you'd be looked at, even in the Western world, you know, you'd be looked at as if you were some kind of freak, you know, if you didn't eat meat. I forget. I do forget that. But it is quite difficult. I think it is difficult. I found it difficult the first kind of 2 or 3 months. And did you just go vegan like that's it, I'm vegan, or did you transition into it?
I mean, I really tried to just go vegan straight away. I obviously made a few mistakes. Like, I thought something was vegan and then, you know, it ended up having milk or something in it. But I really did try, just like straight from the beginning. I was like, wow, this is terrible. I need to stop.
Yeah. The first time I did, I like, that's it, and I did it like that. But this time I transitioned. I used up the things that were in my house first. So you know, I didn't throw anything away. I thought that was even more, that was worse, you know,
Yeah, I didn't
just
throw away anything either.
Yeah, so that was how I transitioned into it. And then I did a little bit of research, like what could I use instead of milk? And I, you know, and I tried different milks while still having milk in the fridge, so I still had my fallback position. You know, if I didn't like this kind of milk, I'd go back to, you know, and I did that for a few weeks. So when people, I think, you know, when people go, I really admire people who just say, right, that's it, and that's, you know, I'm vegan now. But I didn't. I transitioned, and I think that makes it a little bit easier to do it that way. But yeah, I've made mistakes. It's really easy to make mistakes because I don't know about where you live, but in the UK they have to put milk in bold because it's an allergen, and eggs they put egg in bold, you know, on an ingredients list because it's an allergen.
Okay.
Yeah, in bold type,
Yeah.
right? But there are some things that are still animal based, like some preservatives and honey. I made a mistake on YouTube. Have you seen the videos where I bought some granola and it had honey in it?
No.
Because all I did, you know, I looked down the ingredients list looking for milk. And then I thought, yeah, all fine. And then the very, very last ingredient, which my eyes just skimmed over, was honey. Like, oh. And then I made this video, and then somebody put in my comments, that's got honey in it. That's not vegan. So, yeah. People, yeah. So making mistakes is easy, but yeah.
Right.
You're still vegan, right? You're still vegan even if you make a mistake.
Yeah, see, I think that too. It's not so much about being perfect, but then it's about recognizing the mistake, and you're like, oh crap, that brand of whatever has something that isn't vegan. Don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
Is where I think some people, they make one too many mistakes and then they just kind of give up.
Yeah.
Which is sad.
Yeah. I think that's the slippery slope. Unnatural vegan. I don't know how do you feel about unnatural vegan? She's you either love her or you hate her. That's the thing.
Maybe a year and a half ago, I watched her a bit, but now I don't.
Yeah.
I feel like she's kind of said one too many things that are a little off for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. I've subscribed to her in the past, and then I unsubscribe, and then I subscribe back. And but her view about reducitarianism, that's quite controversial. And I think that if somebody has absolutely no intention of going vegan, absolutely no intention whatsoever of going vegan, then reducitarianism, like my mum's done, like cut out red meat, that's better than nothing, right? You know, or you go plant-based in the week and then you eat some meat at weekends, right? That's better than nothing because it's cutting down your consumption. So any cutting down of consumption has got to be good, both in terms of ethically, because it's giving a, you know, it's giving the big companies the message that actually we want plant-based alternatives. People are buying more plant-based alternatives and buying less meat products, and also for the health is better. Unless you're eating Beyond Burgers every day, and then maybe it isn't. But when somebody claims to be vegan, but yet they cheat and say, well, I've had that's not vegan, and well, that's not hurting anybody, so I will just have this as well that's not vegan, but it's only these two things and there's only a little bit of milk powder in them, that's not hurting anybody. That's the slippery slope.
Yeah, and I think that happened to I don't know if you really, I didn't even know about her until everyone made video responses, but Kalel, I believe, was the one who was like, well, I kind of have these leather boots and then I kind of use this makeup. And
yeah, exactly. She's a perfect example. Unnatural Vegan made a video in support of Kalel, if you remember, back quite a few months ago now. You know, she was saying, well, it's only a little bit, and yeah, it's difficult to get shoes, and yeah, it's better than nothing. No. It's better than nothing for people who have absolutely no intention of going vegan, right? Yes, encourage them to reduce the amount of animal products they use, either in their diet or in their life generally. Yes, help them reduce. Great, right? But encourage them to go a little bit more in you know, well, you know, you've given up red meat. How about giving up chicken as well? How about giving up this as well? This is what I do with my mum, right? But yeah, Kalel, she claimed to be vegan. She then decided that she wanted a chocolate bar every now and again that had milk in it. Now, how many chocolate bars out there are vegan, right? Either accidentally or otherwise, right? No excuse.
right,
no
quite
excuse.
few where I live, actually.
Well, in the UK, we've got quite a few options of but like I said, you know, it depending on where you live, right? But leather shoes, come on. I mean, you don't need leather shoes. You do not need leather shoes. You don't. You just don't. And there are plenty of shoes that are not leather. But yeah. So that kind of person then just says, well, I'll give up. And then what got me about Kalel was she made all of those stupid excuses that she was unwell. Just sounded like excuses to me. Might be wrong, but sounded like excuses to me.
Well, something people were pointing out that I do think is valid is that you can actually get very sick from like breast implants and plastic surgery, which she's, I guess, had a lot of surgery.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know very much about that, but apparently breast implants can leak, or even if they're not leaking, they can cause an immune response in the body. So possibly, but I wouldn't know enough about it to be able to comment, really. I'd say it's possibly more likely that she's maybe making excuses, to be honest. She didn't sound terribly sincere. But I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. She might have been really, really unwell and the whole internet has been really unfair to her. And if that's the case, then fair enough. But for me, it's the, yeah. But she was one of the first ones, wasn't she? Of the slide of the, you know, the big YouTube influencers. I hate that term, influencer. I really hate that term. It's like, you're not influencing anybody, love. I'm sorry, you're not. Yeah, it's just got silly. It's got very, very silly as the ex-vegan stuff. So what are your plans for your channel?
Me, I don't know. I just keep doing what I'm doing. You know, sometimes I'll upload twice a week. Sometimes it's twice a month. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some things happen. Like some things, like a bunch of things will happen. And I'm like, I have a lot to say. And then other times it's kind of quiet. So I'm like, okay, not much to do.
Yeah.
I'm inconsistent.
Yeah. I think most people are inconsistent. But
I mean, you're very dedicated. You do videos every day, sometimes even like 2 or 3 videos a day.
Yeah, I do. I occasionally. To be honest, I only plan to do 1 a day. But I have an inconsistent schedule as to when I upload. So sometimes, depending on where you live, I think it can look like I do 2 in a day. And sometimes I do 2 in a day. But I'm an obsessional kind of person. So if there's something that I really like, I want to do it all the time. You know, that's just the kind of person that I am. And I think I've got so much to learn about YouTube and so much to learn about making videos. I'm just very, very slowly, you know, because I do have other things to do as well. I'm kind of slowly learning about editing and learning about, you know, different ways to do things, and I'm enjoying that process. So that's kind of where I'm at with YouTube, because, you know, until I'd made my first video, I'd never even used an editor program. I'd never made a video ever. So I've gone from absolute knowing completely nothing to knowing a little bit, and I'm, you know, I just like learning. I enjoy learning, and that's, you know, that's it.
Oh, I know. Once you do figure out how to do a video, they're so fun. I love editing.
Yeah. I like editing, and I know a lot of people don't like editing. You know, they find that's the boring part, but I enjoy the editing. I enjoy just sitting down and reviewing footage and thinking, oh yeah, I can put that in, and I'd like to become a lot more creative, I think, in the way that I do my videos. But I am limited with time. But if I had the opportunity to do YouTube full time, I'd love to do YouTube full time. Then I think my video quality would be a lot better, and I'd get more creative. That's what I'd really like to do. But I can't see YouTube paying me enough money anytime soon.
Oh gosh, I think at this point it's so unrealistic to think that you're gonna like be a full-time YouTuber and make enough money.
Yeah. I think YouTube is such a massive platform now, isn't it? It's a huge platform now. You know, those people who were in it from the earlier times had an easier ride getting well known. And it's so difficult with the algorithm as well. You know, I've recently become monetized, and I get videos demonetized, and I have to apply, you know, to have them monetized, because, and I don't know why. It's like, what have I said? What is there in that video? You know, there's no swearing. There's no, what is it? There's just certain trigger words.
I know, it's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. It's like, why?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna like bother to monetize my videos. I really don't think I'm gonna ever bother because of that. I feel like,
yeah. Well, once I hit 1,000, I thought, right, I'm going to apply for monetization. I might as well make a little bit of money you know, I'm doing it anyway. I might as well make a little bit of money, even if it's just to, you know, if I need a new computer, you know, I'm putting the money that I get from the videos in a separate account, so you know I can upgrade my computer and whatever. That's kind of how I'm doing it. But yeah, I've had 2 videos this week that have been put onto limited ads because they are not suitable for advertisers. And then you have to hit 1,000 views before you can apply to have it reviewed. So it's like,
that's silly.
I had no idea. I had no idea. So it's even more difficult to make money and live off YouTube earnings when the YouTube algorithm is so nuts. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. Let's have I've got the chat here. Should we?
I know. I'm a moron. It's my first live stream, everyone. I'm sorry.
Let's have a look.
I know. Anything
unnatural vegan is problematic.
She can be.
There's stuff about what? I need glasses. This text is rather small for me. What? Somebody was vegan 1,000 years ago in the Middle East.
That was you.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah, there's a lot of chat, but I can't see any questions. Right. Okay, right. I'm gonna ask the chat. Ask me anything. Ask me anything.
Ask us anything.
And
well, anything.
Ask us both. Ask us both anything you want, and we'll answer. Quick fire questions. That's it. Let's see if anybody answers. It's a little bit. I think it's a little bit behind.
Gosh, do I even want to know how many trolls are in the chat right now?
It does look actually. It does look quite respectful. I
know. I feel like you and I combined, we would have a lot of trolls.
Yeah.
It's actually okay.
I think so. I mean, I can't see anything really nasty. Given that Vane's in there and PewDiePie Felix is in there.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, PewDiePie Felix says animals are tasty. Okay. That's
not really a question, it's a statement, but
yeah, that I've flicked up into the past. I've gone back into the past. All right. The game is over for 84% of vegans as it approaches the 5-year mark. So you're right there. No valid reason for vegan for health. Yeah, whatever.
Well, you and I have made it past the 5-year mark.
Yeah, we have in the past. Well, you definitely have. You definitely have. Okay, so we got a couple of questions. Angela says, have you ever been in a cube of truth?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't either. In terms of activism, like physically going out there being an activist, it's not something I've done, but I would like to. I would like to in the future. I could make an excuse and say I'm always so busy, but it's not really an excuse, that is it? But Tommy Kelly.
Oh,
hi, Tommy. Hi, Tommy. Aliens, yes or no?
Yes.
Do you believe in aliens? I do. I believe that there is life on other planets. Definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. Absolutely, definitely. But do you believe that aliens have actually visited Earth?
Yes.
Do you? I want to believe that. I really, really want to believe that aliens have visited Earth, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure they have. I want to believe it. So I want to believe in ghosts as well. just want to believe in ghosts because I used to love ghost stories as a kid. And I just really want ghosts to be scary things to scare people. And when I die, I want to come back to haunt people. That's what I'd really like. So, Tommy, in answer, Rebecca says, yes, definitely. I say yes as well, but I'm not sure that aliens have ever visited Earth. That's my answer to that one.
Well, I believe it was Leonardo da Vinci. In one of his paintings, he has what looks like a little like spaceship.
Oh yeah.
You look at some artwork, and especially like huge monuments, like the pyramids, like
oh yeah. Do you
something's going on there, you know? And I'm not saying for certain, but maybe it's aliens.
Yeah. Do you? Yeah, I like this alternative history, like ancient history, but it's like from an alternative perspective. Like there's somebody called Graham Hancock, who fantastic writer, love his work. And he's actually a journalist. He's not a scientist or an archaeologist. He's a journalist, but he's written quite a lot of books about the ancient, like pyramids, ancient Egypt, the fact that the pyramids point and the Sphinx point to certain constellations.
Yeah.
And he argues that there have been civilizations that are much, much more advanced in the past that have been wiped out by cataclysms, by natural cataclysms or asteroids or something. So basically the human race has had to start again with its technology, and it's had to start again with its knowledge. And the pyramids were built in a time when technology was much more advanced. Now, some people will go one step further than that and will say that actually that advanced technology comes from aliens. And it could well be. Graham Hancock says, no, actually, it doesn't need to be aliens. It's just that the humans that were alive before those cataclysms were much more advanced and had technologies that they could move stone without, you know, breaking people's backs and stuff. So I'm on the fence. But you're absolutely right. Pyramids. I mean, we couldn't build with the technology we've got today.
It would still be very difficult.
Yeah, we couldn't build the pyramids. It would take
so long.
Yeah. There's had to be, and also there's a guy. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. Brian Forster. And he works in South America. So, like, you know, like the old Mayan pyramids and stuff. Well, those pyramids are very similar to the Egyptian pyramids, but on a completely different continent. And those pyramids are much, much, much older than current history will give it credit for. So Brian Forster is another one and he actually believes that all the pyramids in South America were actually built by aliens. So yeah, maybe. So that was a good question. Tommy. Okay, so LB says, have you ever been to a vigil like Pig Save? No, I haven't. Have you ever been to a vigil? No, and I want to, but then at the same time, it would destroy me. it would psychologically destroy me. Okay, so Angela says, did you? So it's whey protein, but there's no bacteria. What do I think? I've never heard of it, to be honest.
No, neither have I.
No, I've not. No. I'll definitely look into it. It's not something. What do I think about it? Well, I would try if there's no animal exploitation, then I'd probably give it a try. But if it's whey protein, I might be intolerant of it. So, or if it's the equivalent of whey protein, I might be intolerant of it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's vegan, I'd try it.
Yeah, if it's vegan, if it's definitely
right. I'll
vegan.
try almost anything if it's vegan.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm terribly picky with food. But I will try it just if it's vegan. Tommy says, I will sound like a nut job, but I've seen a UFO and an alien as a kid.
Okay,
Wow.
was the UFO like a black triangle? Because I've seen that twice in my life.
Wow.
No, if you go on Google image, it's like a thing. Like at first I thought I was just like seeing things.
Wow.
But there are actually like photos. Just go on Google image, type in like black triangle UFO, and you'll see it.
Right. Well,
but is it really aliens or is it just like experimental, Air Force military? Who knows?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could
right.
be.
He actually saw an alien inside the spaceship.
Says he's seen an alien, yeah. An alien as a kid. Yeah.
Well, what did the alien look like?
Tommy, tell us what it looked like. What did it look like? Tommy also says some UFOs said to have ancient hieroglyphics. So in the Egyptian hieroglyphics, some of the hieroglyphics look like
There are like a few things in hieroglyphics that have like, I don't know, I've seen like light bulbs, I've seen spaceships. That is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Or is it on like the actual spaceship, like in that movie, what is it? It's Stargate.
Oh yeah, Stargate. Yeah.
Yeah, like Ra's actually an evil alien.
Yeah. So yeah, fascinating. Okay. Gary Reeves, why is Michelle stronger than Meat of the Matter?
I think everyone's stronger than Meat of the Matter.
Yeah, everybody. Even a newborn baby is stronger than Meat of the Matter. He looks like if the wind came along, it would just blow him over, wouldn't it? Okay. They're talking about cheese now, vegan cheese. I've been surprised how Walmart has so many vegan options, even the quick deli. Yeah. I mean, in the UK, we've got loads of vegan options. Tommy says it was a silver orb. So the UFO is a silver orb. And then the alien was your stereotypical grey, about 3 feet, approached an opening on the orb. Ooh. I don't know, Tommy. I don't know about that. I mean, I think a lot of the UFO sightings, as you say, are perhaps military operations, but I don't know. Okay, LB says, Michelle, I didn't understand your vegan deterioration video. Did you intend to say you're aging as a vegan more so than a vegetarian? No, I didn't. I was being sarcastic.
Oh my God, that channel is ridiculous. There's like that actual vegan deterioration.
Yeah. I've never watched it. I've never watched it. I haven't watched one of the videos purposefully because I just think all of the stuff that Sverige does with the epitome of malnutrition, it's the same kind of thing. It's ridiculous. You can take 2 photographs of the same person taken in the same room, just with 2 different cameras, and they look completely different, right?
Oh, I know Vegetable Police actually did that video.
It did, yeah. I mean, if I took a photograph on this iPhone that I've got here, and then I've also got a Sony, I could take 2 photographs with each with their phone. The iPhone one would look much, much sharper, much better than the Sony one, right? I'd probably look better on the Sony one because it wouldn't show my wrinkles, right? Because of the camera quality. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. So I don't watch her channel on purpose because I don't want to give her the views. Have we got any more questions? Yeah. Gary Reeves said, don't give them the views. Leonardo says, vegan deterioration has openly said she doesn't believe in science. Well, that does not surprise me one bit. It does not surprise me one bit. How can anyone deny science? So these look pretty respectful, these comments, to be honest. So have we got anything else to talk about, or shall we call it a day, do you think? We've been chatting for about an hour and a half now, so I don't think I've got anything else to say. It's been...
Neither do I, but I'm happy that you came to talk to me, and hopefully I can figure out how to actually upload this.
I think it will just upload
just automatically. Oh no. Yeah, just as we were talking. Oh, you're back.
What? Oh, it's okay. I've never set up one myself. I haven't even done a live stream on my own. That is definitely something I'm going to do in the future. I want to do more live streams, definitely. And every time I do one of these live streams, I always say, "Oh, I want to do more live streams," and then don't bother until someone asks me to do a live stream. So I'm gonna learn, like I'm learning how to do videos properly. Let's also learn to do live streams properly. I think that would be a good thing to do, wouldn't it?
Oh, I know. I feel like the first 20 minutes of this live stream is me figuring out how to get you on here.
Well, I knew you can't go through, because I've got the Google Hangouts icon. You can't go into that to get a link because that's offline. So that's to chat to somebody offline. So I
have to like email you the link.
I think so. That's how people have got me on in the past. Is just email me the link. When I was on Drew Morgan's channel the other week, I copied the link. It copied. I just pressed on it and it copied it into Safari because I use a Mac. It copied it into Safari and that wouldn't let me on. So we were about like hours and 20 minutes trying to get on. So everybody has these problems. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
So yeah, don't worry about it. I'm just as much of a noob with live streams as you are. Should we just say any final questions? Oh, apparently Hench Herbivore's streaming live, so I think people are going over there to watch that.
Bye everyone. I know he's more popular.
He is much more popular. All right, so shall we call it a day here? And,
all right, I'll let you go.
Hopefully it will upload and people could come in and
all right.
Could come in and troll us. On the comments.
I know. Lazy troll.
All
right. Well, have a good Friday.
Yeah.
It's nice talking to you.
Yeah, it's almost 7 p.m. For me, but you've got your whole day ahead of you, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, happy Friday, and I'll speak to you very soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.